And a very good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. My name is Sandy Elson, and on behalf of the travel professional community and travelprofessionalnews.com, I want to welcome all of you to today's webinar. We have what I think is a really exciting presentation for you today, hosted by Passport Online. Today's webinar will be moderated by our good friends Mary Pat Sullivan, CTC, President of Sullivan Marketing Advisors, and Amanda Cabeceras, Sales and Support Specialist for Passport Online. Amanda, Mary Pat, and their travel agent guest, Mike Edick, who is owner of Pioneer Travel, will be discussing Can Your Customers Find You Online? A topic that I know is important to all of us in our travel businesses. Before we get started, a reminder that we welcome your questions. You can type in your questions at any time in the question area you see on the right-hand panel of your screen. When our speakers are finished with their presentation, we'll get to as many questions as we can. So first up is going to be Mary Pat Sullivan to get us started. Welcome, Mary Pat.
Thank you, Sandy. You guys know I'm always happy to be here. This is my favorite group. I love the travel professional community and the travel professional news, so we're happy to be here. And I'm going to kind of jump in and out of this presentation. Amanda's going to take the heavy lifting here, but what I want to do is bring our guest into the studio, and so Amanda's going to introduce him to you here in the next slide. We bring in one of your colleagues to join us for the conversation because we think it's really important that you hear from somebody who's doing exactly what you're doing. So Mike Edick, who's at Pioneer Travel in Wisconsin, great business model he has here, and he's got a beautiful website that's actually getting better every day, and he's got some active Facebook activity and social media activity. So we want to talk to Mike a little bit as we go on with the presentation. So he'll be joining us as we go, and he'll jump in here very soon. So right now I'm going to have Amanda intro the program. So Amanda, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Great, thank you. So thank you all for joining us today. We're going to talk a bit, like we talked in that first slide, talk about how your customers are finding you online. And then as we were kind of developing this, we realized that what was really important is not just finding you online, but actually how to turn that kind of contact into actual leads. So they found you, and then what? So what we're specifically going to focus on is your social media and customers finding you on social media, and then how to use that to actually generate leads. So we've had a lot of conversations about, do I need a website? I just have social media. Do I need both? So, and we really believe that in order to be truly successful, you need to be fully active on both social media and your websites. So in this webinar, we're going to discuss first the benefits of social media, the benefits of an active website, and then finally how a coordinated web effort can actually assist in generating leads. And then this webinar came at a really appropriate time considering all of the changes Facebook is making in the newsfeed algorithm. So at the very end of this webinar, we're going to very briefly then discuss the new Facebook algorithm and then a little bit about what we at Passport Online are currently doing to ensure our customers are still successful on social media. Because we're going to talk a bit about, why it's important to be on social media. So we just want to be sure that your efforts are effective as these changes are happening. So as we're going through this webinar and talk a bit about social media in your website, I would ask you to start thinking about your website as a digital hub of your digital marketing efforts, and then your social media as a marketing tool that supplements that. So first up, we're just going to start by discussing some of the benefits of social media and exactly what social media can do for your business. So simply, why is social media such a good tool for your business? Well, social media can help increase brand recognition. By using social media correctly, you can create and curate kind of a personality for your brand, and it can help people become even more familiar with you, more comfortable with you, and also help you stay top of mind. Social media can help improve your customer service efforts. By being active on social media, people have more access to you, and you can ask more questions and even receive questions and answers in real time. An example of that is we have a Facebook group for one of our products at Passport Online, our social media product, ESP, and we had a post go out today. So ESP kind of curates posts for you and puts them directly on your wall. We had a post go out today, and somebody had a question about it. They were able to answer the question. Ask the question. We could answer the question within a few minutes, And then several other agents got involved in the conversation as well. So that was just a really great example of a quick customer service experience that was probably even better than it would have been if it had just like been a simple phone call or an email. It was very interactive and quick, and people could give their feedback as well. So another benefit of social media is that it can help lower traditional marketing costs. Social media marketing is dramatically less expensive than traditional print marketing. You can make changes on your own in real time, and you just aren't wasting materials. So it's also really important to implement social media strongly into your business, simply because that's where your customers are, and it's often the easiest way to reach them. Facebook represents a huge potential marketplace for your social media efforts, and Facebook has transformed how business is conducted. And its use by local businesses to extend their markets continues to explode. And currently, 42% of marketers report that Facebook is critical or important to their business. I'm going to go over a couple quick Facebook statistics and social media statistics just to really drive home. So we're going to talk a bit today about the benefits of social media and then again websites. And I really just want to kind of impress upon you that our intention is that both are very important. And so one of the reasons, again, why social media is so important is simply because that's where people are. So currently, Facebook has more than 1 billion active daily users and 2 billion monthly active users. People access Facebook an average of 8 times per day. There are 400 new users that sign up on Facebook every single minute. And every 60 seconds, people post 317,000 status updates, 147,000 photos are uploaded, and 54,000 links are shared. So a few more benefits of social media that we believe are worth mentioning. Social media requires little to no technical expertise, so there's a very low barrier of entry. Most of the platforms are easy to use. They require very little experience. When creating a business page, for example, there's just straightforward forms for you to fill out. They walk you along, you answer a series of questions regarding your business, and then they create a page that's organized and easy to follow, and most importantly, familiar for people to look at and use. Social media is optimized for search engines, which helps improve your SEO. So due to the number of pages and the high amount of shared content and how often that content is updated, and the popularity of these sites, your business page on popular social media platforms are just created to be search engine optimized just out of the box. So your page will show up high in search rankings when someone's searching for your business. So for example, if somebody searches Passport online, our website will show up first, and then it's immediately followed by our Facebook page. And then, let's see. So social media also includes marketing tools and integrations. Most social platforms, especially the big ones like Facebook, Twitter, Google, YouTube, or Google+, will have great marketing capabilities and integrations already built in. You can build an email list, you can sell products, and you can do a lot more with just the tabs that are built into your Facebook page, which we're going to talk about a little bit more. And then most platforms have similar capabilities, and the analytics of each platform continue to improve, allowing you to track what your visitors are doing, where they're looking, what kind of content they like, and then it also kind of helps you group them into different demographics. This can help with your targeting. This allows you to quickly and easily know what works and know what doesn't, basically.
I'm going to jump in here, Amanda, if you don't mind, because I knew we were coming to the website. And, you know, Mike, I'm going to ask you, you have a pretty active social media, but your website still seems critical for your business. So can you give our audience a feel for why you feel you need both your website and your social media?
Absolutely. First of all, thanks for having me today. Facebook and social media is so important for the casual viewer who's just scrolling along, has nothing else going on, and they see fun pics of travel, they see fun pics of where you're going, or clients are going, or a sale that's going on. They'll grab their attention, and they may not book at that moment, but it plants a seed in their mind that, hey, I want to go here. Maybe 3 months, 6 months down the road, they'll come back to you and say, I saw this picture on your Facebook page or on your social media page, and I want to book this trip. What can you do for me? Whereas the benefits of a website, it gives you validity for being out there that you actually have a legitimate site and a legitimate business that people can go to learn about who you are, what you offer, and what stands you out from anybody else in business. So it's critical to have both of those, one for the casual viewer and one who's really ready to book and wants to find somebody that'll take care of the business for them.
And I know Amanda's going to get into some of the specifics of the website program, but you have a lot of opportunity on your website for customers to do some shopping, some looking around. So it's interesting that you say that about social media being kind of what they view, because one of the arguments people have against being involved in social media is that they don't see any clicks, they don't see a lot of likes and comments, but your point is really valid, because when I look at social media, I remember where I saw that. I may not do anything with it, but I remember, I saw that on Mike's, agency page. So when I want to go back and talk to you, I may search it again, search your page and go look at it again and then call you. But that's a really valid point. It's not always that they have to engage with your social media. They're looking at it, right?
Exactly. They're always looking for something fun, something entertaining, even if it's just a meme of traveling on the beach. So you're missing the beach. You want to have your toes in the sand. That'll sit in the back of their minds when the time comes for them to want to book travel. That they'll keep you in mind instead of going up to somebody else.
Great. And then when they get to your website, they can do some shopping, right? You have a lot of content on there.
Absolutely. You can do many different types of shopping. You can do land excursions, cruises, all-inclusives, whatever you need, different variety for different people. So once they go to the website, they get different ideas of what they're looking for.
Okay, great. So I appreciate that input, and we'll come back to you in a little bit. Amanda, back to you.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, I think that's really important. We kind of touched about that a little bit in the previous slides, is that social media isn't necessarily going to be that hard sell. People might not book directly from it, but like Mike was saying, it helps you stay like top of mind. And so when people do, people aren't always booking travel every single day, or the people who are liking your page, but if you're staying present in their news feed, when it does come time to it, you're probably going to be the first person they think of. So then at that point, it's kind of done its job. So we're going to talk a bit about the benefits of a website. And there's more than 2.4 billion people use the internet every single day. And 90% of those have purchased something or contacted a company online within the next 12 months. And so your website's critical for a few reasons. It allows you to be fully in control. So one of the things that happens with social media, as we all know, is that there's the ads that kind of run along the side of your social media news feed. So you can't control what displays on someone else's page. If someone's searching travel, they're searching a trip to Mexico, their ads are going to be targeted towards that. So that might take them away from you. That's something that you can't control. You can't control the ads, the content, or the competitors that may show up on social media, but you have full control over what content displays on your website. And then additionally to that, if a social media site changes, you're not out of business. So if you're focusing all of your marketing and all of your kind of web presence on a social media platform, you're kind of running the risk of something happening if that goes away. If somebody was using a MySpace page, they probably are not doing that any longer. They probably moved to Facebook. So that's just kind of the way social media moves as well. And then another great example of that is a couple months ago, many business pages were impacted when Facebook updated its algorithm. So before the change that they announced this year, but just kind of a change they did a few months ago, and they decreased the reach of business pages. So when this happens, there's really not a lot businesses can do but wait, kind of have to wait and see what happens. Eventually we'll learn some tips and tricks that kind of help you stay, above that. But if you had a website that you're going to and you were directing that social media traffic to, you'll continue engaging in the same way with your customers. So basically, you're still active, you're still present. And then, so the next reason, window shopping isn't what it used to be. People window shop online now versus in the mall. Customers are constantly seeking out where they plan to make their purchases. And so it's important for your business that your business is well represented online. I think that we can all speak to that. Everybody kind of browses online. Sometimes I do it before I even head to a store, just to kind of see what you're looking at. So especially before you make a big purchase, you're definitely going to do some window shopping online. And then to what Mike said, your small business will gain credibility. A digital footprint allows your customers to review your business, and professionally designed websites can really help tell the story about your business. And this is especially important for home-based businesses because this gives you a storefront. Your website also acts as your digital brochure rack. Your website can share up-to-date information about offerings and can be changed in real time, so the kind of shopping Mike was talking about doing on your website. You can do all of that right on a website, and you can change that information as quickly as you need to and as often as you need to. And then maybe most importantly, websites are always open and accessible. They're open 24 hours a day, which allows customers to browse and research in their own time. You know, most of us are going to do that like online window shopping. We're going to do it at home. We're going to be doing it in the evening. So this allows them to do some pre-shopping ahead of time and then give you a call when they're ready to make a purchase or have a more serious conversation. So we've briefly touched on the benefits of both social media and websites. So now we're going to shift gears a little bit, and we're going to just talk a bit about connecting the two, and we're going to focus more on how you can use social media as a platform to drive traffic back to your website through lead generation. And for the sake of this, when we're talking about lead generation, we're talking about the process of attracting and converting strangers and prospects into someone who has indicated interest in you as in your company's products or services. So we're going to just share some tactics, and these are kind of baseline. This is a huge conversation, and there's so many different tips and so many different strategies that work. So we're going to share about 7 or 8 different kind of tips to do this. And so this is important to just remember these are just baseline pieces of information, just the most simple things you can do, particularly using a Facebook page. So as the year goes on, we'll kind of continue to develop this webinar and share some more intermediate and then advanced different techniques for lead generation. But so right now, there's just baseline tips that you can do and that you should be doing. So we're going to touch briefly on each of these. So we're going to talk about making sure people can find you, adding your website URL to your post, posting landing pages for offers to your Facebook page, running a contest, pinning posts, adding a call to action, and asking for input. So I'm going to jump right into these. So first up, make sure people can find you. You need to be accessible to your customers no matter where they're looking for you. If they're on social media sites, they should easily be able to connect to your website, email, or simply just learn more information. If they're on your website, they should also be able to find all that same information. The point is that don't make it hard for them to track you down. They've already come so far as to find you. Let them be able to connect with you in whatever way is comfortable for them or seek more information regardless of what they're looking for. So a few simple ways to do this, and if you've been on any webinars with us before, you probably heard some of these first tips. We believe they're important in these. So add social media icons to your website. So this is actually Mike's website, and we were actually at Passport working on updating his website. So we'll show you kind of the in-between stage and a couple more slides. But so this is Mike's website, and you can see right here he has his social media icons. They're displayed easily. This banner image actually goes across on every page you're on, so people can always find more information. If there's a company I'm interacting with, I often like to go look at their Facebook page or their Instagram. I feel like it just tells a different story. Sometimes it gives, examples of people using their services, examples of their products, whatever it might be. It just gives you a richer experience and gives that personality. So make sure you have those social media icons on your website and that they're displayed in a way people can find them.
Amanda, can you stay with that for a second? Can you go back to that slide? So, Mike, I was on your site today, and it's great when somebody's Facebook link actually goes to their Facebook page because not every time people check those links. But, Mike, are you active in all those forms of social media that are up there on your site?
Yeah, I try to be as active as I can just to make sure that there's fresh content on every one of those sites from time to time. So if people keep checking back, they're seeing something new. They're not seeing the same thing over and over again. It gives them a reason to come back.
That's great. And, I wanted to ask that question because I also want to encourage all of you on the line, check your own links and sites because a lot of people have this is going to make your business look beautiful.
Yeah, another thing actually to kind of point out, speaking of those links, you know, a lot of people use Wix to design websites, and Wix websites are beautiful. I have helped friends put them together for other projects, things like that. But if you aren't careful, their sites actually are preloaded for the links to go directly back to their own social media. And I don't think that's meant as like a gotcha. I just think it's more meant as an example that people often overlook. But so, yeah, regardless of where your website was built, go check those links and make sure they're going to where you think they're going, would be my advice on that one. And then on your social media, particularly on Facebook, but also on Twitter and Instagram and things like that, make sure that people can find you there. So if they've found you via social media, whether you posted something and it came across their timeline because your friend interacted with them, if they're looking for more information, make sure that information is easy for them to find. So you want to have your email address like Mike has here, your website URL, whatever other information is going to help them find you. Make sure that's all filled out and up to date. So again, and then add go ahead and include that information there. It's one of the first things I do when I get an email from somebody. I go look at their website. I learn a little bit more about them. So you can assume that your customers are doing the same thing. So this is just another easy one that this information is out there. Most email platforms just let you add this in your signature, and you can just kind of auto-populate it every time you send an email. So the next thing you can do is add your website URL as part of a call to action to your Facebook posts. This helps customers find their way back to your website easily. This way they don't have to navigate, they don't have to jump around and find you. If they're looking at your post, they can just easily find you. So you've already grabbed their attention with a beautiful eye-catching image. Why not just add in your URL? Because, you know, if you see something that's beautiful that you're interested in, and the link was right there, you're probably going to click on it, especially if you think about how people consume social media. They're doing it often on a phone or a tablet or a handheld device. This way, everything's just, you know, an easy click, and then they'll keep moving forward. So this is actually an ESP post, and we are able to go in and edit this before it posts with the ESP Advanced Delivery feature that's available now. So we can just add this in, and people can go right back to this. This is just a sample post. This wouldn't actually go anywhere, but you kind of get the idea here. This should just be a habit that you get into, especially if it's a post that kind of really speaks to you or your business. Another thing to do to take that one step further is post landing page offers to your Facebook pages. This is probably one of the best ways to generate leads on Facebook. You can do this by simply sending people directly to landing pages for lead generating offers. So I'm going to show you what I mean by that, but what I mean by a landing page. So I'm going to kind of walk you through the process. This is Roger. He's another agent who has often joined us on these calls, so you might be familiar with him. So what he's done is he's found an offer that lives on his website, We Love to Cruise. In this offer is some content that's available through Passport Online through his website with us. And so he's just copy and pasted this link in this image right here to his Facebook page. So if you just were to put the link, it would actually just populate a thumbnail for you. And then if you clicked on that, it would actually take you to this. This is what I mean by the landing page. So he's posted a link that goes directly to a landing page that's, in this case, an offer detail. So this, again, is not making people search around. If they get here and this isn't exactly what they're looking for, now they're in your search pages on your website. So the chances of them kind of shopping around and doing a little bit more window shopping would be a really great opportunity right here. So ESP posts actually often do this for you. Here's an example from today. So this is through Universal. This is an offer to Universal. So this is actually on Mike's Facebook page again. So there's this right here, and then if somebody, this is a post that went to his customers. If somebody were to click on this, it would actually take you into an offer detail page for just that particular offer. This happens often in these, and you can kind of go through and preview them ahead of time, make sure it fits for what you're looking for, but it just kind of takes out that work for you. So I just wanted to show you
Amanda,
again.
wait, stay with that again for a second. Go back to Mike's page, because Mike, I want people to understand. So this is Mike's Facebook page. So Mike, you didn't do anything here, right? This posted automatically by ESP. This post that we're looking at on your screen.
Correct. That's posted by
right?
Correct.
And then when you go to the landing page, this is because you have this content from Passport Online. So you didn't have to build this landing page. This is also part of what comes with your website, right?
Correct.
Okay. So I think it's important for people to understand that. So Mike, from your perspective as an agency owner, these tools, they do this work for you, right?
Oh, it takes the headache out of trying to do it all yourself. It's beautiful. I don't have to deal with anything. And if somebody wants that package, they can get a hold of me and we can take care of it for them. But I don't have to set anything up ahead of time.
Right. And you've now generated some interest on Universal Studios and you didn't press any buttons. I mean, I think that's the important thing for people to understand, because you want
huge.
this kind of content, right? But you don't have to do all that piece of work.
And again, even if they don't want it right now, they've seen the ad, they've seen the post, they got that planted seed in their mind that later on down the road, if they want to do that, they know where to go to find it.
Yep. Perfect. Okay, Amanda. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's exactly, we actually get that question a lot, so I'm glad you brought that up. So if you have these ESP posts that go directly to your page like this, it would go to a landing page that's on your website. So if somebody clicked on this and they were here and they're like, oh, this one wasn't exactly what I was looking for, what you can't see is up above here, we're actually still just living in the website. So they can go back and they can click on all of the other pieces of information. So this integrates really well into your Passport Online websites. If you had ESP that was posting for you, but not a Passport Online website, what this would actually go to, because we get this question a lot too, so I just want to be sure that I'm answering this in case anybody on the line is curious. If they clicked on this post on your Facebook page, it would take you to kind of a generic landing page, but it would be branded with the information that you signed up with. So it would still have your contact information and your phone number. It just wouldn't live in your own website the same way. So it's really cool though, because this is just basically, if we're talking about using Facebook to generate leads, this is kind of doing it for you. So another thing you can do is to run a contest. People love contests and giveaways. Giveaways, not only are they fun for your followers, but they can also teach you a lot about your audience, all while engaging with them, growing your reach, and driving traffic back to your website and ultimately generating leads. You can offer credits, trips, and any other types of rewards you can offer to your customers. Some really easy ways to do it is comment your favorite tip below for a chance to win. In this instance, it's caption this for a chance to win an onboard credit. So again, you could add in your website URL here if you wanted to, but it's just kind of getting people to look at this. And so if you're giving away something for free, people might comment on this, but then they're probably going to look a little bit further to just see maybe what could I get. So again, now you've just found another way that's a little bit more organic and a little bit more subtle to send them right back to your website. So that's another opportunity. And then another thing you can do is pin post at the top of your page. So I'm going to show you what that looks like just so people understand. So pinning a post to the top of your page's timeline allows you to highlight what would otherwise be just a typical post. It'll stay at the top of your timeline until you unpin the post. And a pin post is signified by this right here. So here's two examples. Here's one, and then here's another. So they're last minute cruise deals. The other was a trip that they were planning on their own. So this will stay at the top of your page. It's not going to get lost in the other, because the posts act in a chronological order otherwise. A couple other ideas of when you could do this is if you had an important piece of information. We do it on one of our websites at Passport Online with some frequently asked questions, just to make information readily available. A really great tip to do this to generate leads would be to be pinning offers or something like that, that people can just find. Anytime they look at your page, this will be the very first thing that they see, and it will remain there until you unpin it. So to do that, you would simply just select these three dots right here that are kind of hidden by my circle, but it would just be one of the first line items that would come up on that drop-down menu, and it would just say pin post, and it's just as simple as that. So again, you would do this if you just really wanted to highlight something and make it stay top of mind. And then another thing you can do is you can add a call to action button to your Facebook page. So Facebook added a feature to its business pages allowing users to place a simple call to action button at the top of their Facebook pages. This button is simple but powerful, and it can help drive traffic back from your Facebook post to your website, including your landing pages, a contact us sheet, and other lead generation forms. So you can see here, here's an option to send an email. This one is contact us. Here is one on a sample Facebook page. If you haven't done anything with it yet, you'll have this add a button right here. And if you click on that, you'll find there's 7 pre-made options to choose from. It includes like sign up, shop now, contact us, watch a video, book now. And once you choose which button, it actually gives you several different options that you can do. So what I would, you can link it to an email, you can link it to a phone number, an email address, and you can change this as often as you want. I was recently reading up on this just because I was curious. It's kind of something that we all overlook perhaps. And there's actually quite a bit of opinion on this, and people suggest changing it about every 90 days. And that way it's, again, just something fresh and new. So test it first, see if adding your website URL to that is getting you some responses. If not, link it to a form. The form is maybe a newsletter builder or something like that. Link it to an email address, link it to a special offer, whatever it might be. But change that up and see if there's any sort of information that's getting you some cool responses. It's something that's really quick and easy to do. So just play around with it and see if you get any type of feedback. So the last tip is to ask for input. Ask people what they think about specific offers or sailings. So posts that generate some sort of conversation tend to do the best on social media. Every time somebody comments on them, they're going to move back to the top of the news feeds. They're always going to be kind of active, and people are going to continue engaging with them. The more interaction they have, the longer they'll stay basically living in the news feed. So here's an example of this, just kind of to solidify what I mean by this. So here is an example of a post. It's a would you rather question, and each of these actually links to an offer that correlate with this location. So the hope would be that people would click on one of these links. They're like, I would actually be is the pick for me. So maybe they did want to go and look at this, but then again, now that they've clicked, they're back on your website. And then even if they haven't clicked on those offers, if they're answering this question, again, this offer, this post and these offers are staying in the news feed, they're staying alive a little bit longer, and people are continuing to be able to interact with them. So that's just another idea of how you could do that. And we're going to talk a little bit more about interaction in a couple more slides. And then any other ideas? I know that you guys all know your customers a lot better. We actually had this conversation with some other agents recently, and I don't have the example in here, but we had an agent actually tell us that he uses Craigslist to generate some ads or some leads. He posts in the local business department, and I think he was saying that 70% of the leads that have come in from that have actually turned into bookings. So some really cool stuff there. I wanted to ask you, Mike, do you have any other tips that you use your social media for? I think Cynthia said that you've used some videos before that she's watched.
I try to post a YouTube video whenever I can. If I go somewhere, I'm going to do a 30-second, 1-minute, whatever video, just so people get their attention of, hey, come out and check out this destination. If nothing else, again, it gets your face out in front of the clients. I call myself Johnny Appleseed, that you got to touch somebody 7 times before they actually realize who you are. So videos, people like watching videos. They like seeing the funny pictures. They don't want to be sold. They want to be enjoying things. So when you do a nice video or a nice picture, people don't feel like they're being sold a vacation or a package. They're actually relaxing, going, oh, maybe I need to check that place out.
Mike,
That's
I
really
also
true.
noticed I'm sorry, go ahead, Amanda, you go first.
Oh, no, so I think that the videos and like the pretty funny pictures and things like that, that allows people to kind of consume that type of social media in a more passive way. So it's not really requiring them to think about it if they want to make that purchase. Like, it's very, casual, and they can continue to enjoy that content.
I was going to jump in too and say, Mike, I also noticed on your website you have kind of a customer photo gallery. So your customers can go in and see where some of your other travelers have been and some photos. So do you get your customers to send those photos to you when they travel and then you post them?
Absolutely. I mean, when you look at a professional website, they cut and paste what the website should look like as far as the pictures go. When you've got clients that are actually taking the pictures of these destinations and sending it to you, that's what your other clients can actually expect and see when they're traveling. So it gives more validity to the destinations that you're at.
Great. I love that.
Great. So hopefully some of these tips are helpful, but probably the most important piece of this is making sure you have some regularly updated content on your social media platforms and on your website. So if you're sending them to the website, there should be something new and captivating to look at. Make sure you have up-to-date and new information all of the time. Nothing is worse than searching around and finding some out-of-date or expired information. And same with social media. If you want them to stop and look at your posts, make sure that they are interesting and engaging. So yeah, give your customers something new to look at. We do have a few different products at Passport Online we've kind of briefly touched on, and I wanted to briefly mention each of those before we ended this call. And then, like I said, at the end of this, I do want to briefly touch on social media and the Facebook algorithm and the changes that are being made to that. So I'm going to go through this kind of quickly. So the first is ESP. We've mentioned that a few times through this webinar. All of those posts that we looked at today were ESP posts. ESP is a social media tool developed exclusively for travel agents. We have an in-house team that creates about 3 posts per day and posts them directly to your business Facebook page. Those can be some like would you rather questions, some interaction questions, and they can also be some offers, just destination information. And ESP is only $20 per month. And then we also have a few different website programs. We've got 2 specifically. We have Nextsite and then Vacationport. Nextsite is a complete website solution. It's fully hosted, customized, with agency-controlled content from over 100 leading suppliers, and it's fully branded and personalized. And then we also have Vacationport. So Vacationport would be for a user who just needed some supplier content, but they actually have a website that they've already built, either through WordPress or Wix, or they've had it custom built. So this could actually allow you to integrate that content directly into your existing website. And then both of these have the supplier content that we talked about a little bit, but it updates on a daily basis, and it's always giving you fresh, up-to-date, accurate content. This is super important for a lot of reasons. Again, it's giving your customers something new and fresh to look at every time they shop. The information will always be accurate, so they're not going to find better or more, they're going to find different information online, I guess I should say. And yeah, so we've spent a lot of time recently updating the look and feel of our websites. And so if you've looked at them before, or even if you have one with us now, I really want to kind of highlight our customer engagement team, because they've been doing a really great job of updating these websites and really making them current and exciting to look at and interact with. I think we estimated that they're spending about 60% of their time, our customer engagement team, updating and creating new websites. And this is just something that they're doing kind of as a fun project, and we just really want to keep them fresh and exciting for you. So I want to show you a few of our new website layouts that are just a little bit more streamlined, and you can see each of these they highlight the agency in a different way. So here's one example. And keep in mind, these are screenshots. These are actually full screen websites that go side to side. A little bit hard to show you in a screenshot, but do my best. Here's another one. This has this really cool search box that we just developed and this new sleek layout up here. And then you can just see it's really image heavy and lets people just kind of quickly look at it. So here is Mike's website, and he is actually in the middle of what we call a facelift here at Passport Online. So he's working with our customer engagement team, and they are working with him on updating his website. I'm going to give you just a quick little preview. It actually scrolls down. It has all of his images and things like that. It's a really neat slideshow. So just some cool new updates that are being made to his site. And then here's just another fun one that we're working on right now. This is the
Hey,
top
Amanda,
and
can you go back to Mike's for a minute?
Yeah.
So Mike, because you're in the throes of this, I'd love for you to just talk about what the experience is like, because I think some folks, when they start to delve into this, think they're going to have, HTML expertise and be able to write code and whatever. And so I know you're working pretty closely with Jacob on the customer support team. So can you just kind of share what the experience is like on giving your site a facelift?
Yeah, when I first started the business and had to look at getting a website, I was scared to death of what I would have to do because I am so not tech savvy on any of this stuff. I have no clue what to do. So when I contacted Passport Online and got a hold of Jacob, he has been a godsend for everything that needs to be done. If I tell him I want this on my website or I'd like to do this, what do you think of that? He is there to make sure that it's done the way I want it to be done, or he'll offer suggestions saying, okay, instead of doing it that way, what about this way? So we cohabitate together where we can figure out what the heck is going on, how we want to present it, and it has just been so seamless to get my website up and running where I don't have to stress over it every day trying to figure out the codes and how to put things in there. If I wanted something added on the website, I'll email Passport Online, say, can you please add this in this spot of my website? And it's done in a matter of minutes. It's been absolutely wonderful.
That's great, and I know how hard those guys work, but I think it's important for people to know you don't have to know what you're doing. Not that you don't know what you're doing, Mike, but you know what I'm saying. No, you don't have
Lord
to know.
Lord knows I don't know what I'm doing on a website, but it's been wonderful.
I also think, and Amanda, then I'll give this back to you, but the other thing that's cool, and Amanda was talking about the content available, and what Mike has done on his site, and what any of you can do, is he's got some specialties. So when you click on the vacation link, and I know this is a static page, so I can't show you this, but the vacation link at the top of his page, one of the choices is all-inclusives. And he has built a dedicated search for all-inclusives using the Passport content. Then under cruise, he's got one specific to river cruises, and he's got this beautiful river cruise page, and you can do a search specific to river cruises. So for those of you that might have some specialties, with 100 suppliers in there, I guarantee you can build whatever kind of specialty you want, and then your website can help you sell that. So Mike's done a good job of that, so I just wanted to bring that up too. Amanda, back to you.
Yeah, and these websites are cool because some people really maybe they're just getting started and they do need some kind of out-of-the-box content. We have that available for you. And then if you also really want to be more hands-on and focus on either it's a specialty, it's a particular supplier, all sorts of options, our team can help you build a page just for that, either your entire website or just individual pages. We have some pages that are built to highlight particular suppliers. That's definitely something that's available. And the sky's kind of the limit as far as that goes. So we can help you highlight your specialties in different ways. Here's an example of that actually that we were looking at for a second. So this is actually a luxury website that we're building, and they focus on luxury content. So kind of what Mary Pat was saying. So each of their pages right here actually will link directly to these different kind of areas of focus. So the team's working really hard on these sites, and they're just coming out beautifully, and they're getting better every day. So I really wanted to be sure to highlight that and let you know that it's not even if you don't know how to do it. So this is time consuming and takes a lot of time to figure it out. And so the team is here to do that for you. So, and they love working hand in hand with the agents and getting things exactly how you want it to be. So I'm going to wrap up that a little bit, and I'm going to talk about the Facebook algorithm because I really didn't want to end the opportunity of having this conversation with you guys without touching again on some of the changes that are coming to the Facebook news feed. This is really important, and this is something that we're having a lot of conversations about on a daily basis. And so by focusing on using your website as a digital hub, like we talked about, you're ultimately protecting your business. Like I mentioned earlier, you should start to think of your website as the hub of your business, and social media is simply a marketing tool. This way, if the social media channel changes its rules, you might lose a great marketing space, but you're not out of business, you're starting over. So with that, I wanted to share a couple of Facebook algorithms. If you don't know what I'm talking about, so Facebook they announced about with the turn of the new year that they were going to be making some changes to their Facebook algorithm that would be sort of preferencing personal information or personal content rather versus pages that are for businesses. So what they have said is that the content that will kind of soar under this new algorithm is content that is engaging, and engagement to them is going to count as comments. So kind of to master this, you should post engaging quality content. Meaningful content wins here. And so, like I said, meaningful content is content that gets comments. And so those posts that we were talking about earlier, so with the caption as contest or the would you rather, that's something that people are going to be commenting on, they're going to be interacting with. And then every time there's posts that kind of have these comments and these conversations, you're just going to gain a little bit more credibility, and it's going to be ranking a little bit higher and a little bit higher and a little bit higher. So the other thing to do, like I just said, and then encourage customers to follow your Facebook page. This way they'll still see you in their news feed, and they can also adjust their preferencing of who they're following. So Facebook isn't trying to punish businesses or customers necessarily, because I do know that I use social media to follow a lot of businesses. So I want to make sure that I'm continuing to see their information just the same as they want to make sure their customers are continuing to see it. So it's not inappropriate, and it's actually something that's really common to ask your customers to follow your page. Just let them know, I want you to keep seeing these updates, so please just give us a follow. So we have at Passport Online our ESP product, and through our ESP product, we've been able to gather data on ESP posts. And through this, we've been able to decide what types of posts generally receive the most comments. So in-house, our team is focusing on creating more posts that fall into that category. So for us, that seems to be posts that have, big, beautiful images, but ask a specific question. And so we get that data bi-weekly. And so we're just going to continue to monitor our plan and update accordingly. And we are sharing all of those findings with our ESP customers and anybody in our group. So that's just something that through this time, as Facebook is kind of making changes, it's a really good opportunity to have a product like ESP. So we're kind of taking the guesswork out of it for you. So with that, I'm going to leave you with this. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact us at Passport Online. We'd be happy to talk to you about any of the products. If you have some questions about social media or websites in general, we'd be happy to chat with you about that as well.
Okay, well, thank you to all of you. This has been fabulous information. We do have several questions. We will get to a few of them. I want to tell our agents on this call that if we don't get to your question, or if you think of something after the webinar is over, you can see the contact information for Passport Online on your screen. So jot it down, and you can give them a call or email them, and they can help you after the webinar. Mike, we've had several agents ask if they can know your website address so they can take a look at it on their own after the webinar is over.
Absolutely. The web address is www.go, Pioneer, Pioneer, travel.com.
Okay, fabulous. Thank you. GoPioneerTravel.com. Amanda, for folks who want to create a website through Passport Online and they already have their own domain name, can they keep that and use one of your products to create a website using their own domain name?
Yeah, absolutely. And we don't charge anything to connect those or anything like that. So our support team would actually kind of walk you just through that process. It usually just means updating a little bit of information with your domain registrar, but it's a very quick process. And we have all of the tools to help walk you through that if need be. But absolutely, and we encourage you to have your own domain.
Okay, fabulous. And is it fairly obvious once you have this website up and running how you add the links to the various social media sites?
Yeah, absolutely. So in these websites, there's actually some widgets that are kind of built in for you. There's a little social media management area, and it would basically, there's a space for you to copy and paste all of that information. I would tell you that's one of the common requests we get to our support team, or our customer engagement team rather, So you can email them those links and they'd be happy to add them for you to your website as well.
Okay, fantastic. If somebody uses Passport Online to create a website, our agent wants to know if that creates any kind of conflict of interest if they belong to a host agency or a consortium.
No, so actually what's cool about Passport Online is that we work with most host agencies and consortia, and it wouldn't necessarily create a conflict of interest. In most cases, we actually have your your exclusives in our system as well, so we can actually help support that relationship that you have rather.
Okay, fantastic. Our agent wants to know if she uses the ESP product. Does she have the ability to choose which posts are posted if she has a niche of some kind?
So the way ESP works right now is that all of the posts are loaded to your administrative area 2 times per week. So it's generally 3 to 4 days in advance. So you can go in and preview all of those messages or the posts ahead of time. If you have the advanced delivery, you can edit the written copy on those if you would like to. But you have the chance to opt out of any posts that you don't want or that don't feel correct for your business. But you absolutely have the chance to go and preview them and choose which ones are going or are not going.
And how many do you recommend an agent posts per day?
So ESP will create about 3 to 4 per day, and that really just depends on, kind of how big your reach is. So the way the Facebook algorithm works is that if you do post 3 times per day, that might sound like a lot, but that doesn't mean that the people that follow you are actually going to see all 3 of those. So you can adjust that throttle and you can make those changes however you need to. So I recommend just do the 3 per day and see what kind of feedback you get off of that, and then you can adjust that as you need. You can adjust that daily if that feels better for you. So that's kind of a question that is particular for you and your business, and I would recommend just kind of experimenting with it.
Okay, fantastic. And our last question is the question that several agents have asked, and it's about the cost of the website product, the Vacation Port product.
Sure. So our websites, both Vacation Port and NextSite, there's a one-time setup fee of $250. And then the NextSite, which is the website program that we looked at the examples of, that is $55 per month. And then the Vacation Port, which is the content only, is $45.75 per month.
Okay, fantastic. And again, agents, if you have any questions that you think of after the webinar or that we didn't get to, we have the Passport Online contact information up right now. And I know Amanda will be happy to either answer your questions or point you in the right direction. This has been absolutely fantastic. A lot of great information. And by the way, thank you for adding that information about the new Facebook algorithm. A lot of people are very confused about that, and you made it very easy to understand. I want to thank everyone today. Our host has been Passport Online, and our wonderful speakers have been Amanda Cabaceres, Sales and Support Specialist for Passport Online, Mary Pat Sullivan, President of Sullivan Marketing Advisors, and Mike Edick, owner of Pioneer Travel. Thank you, all of you. This has been really helpful information.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And I want to thank our agents again for taking time out of your day to join us today. I know you got a lot out of this. So enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
So long.
Bye, thank you.